Hello, gorgeous beings. My name is Ronnie Jazz at your service. Today I'm going to be doing an Astrology 101 video where I'm going to explain the four elements of nature and which signs fit into which elements, and explain the difference between the masculine and feminine signs. So this stuff is very important to know because knowing your element of nature helps you to realize what kind of people you're compatible with, because you're compatible with people that are of your same element, and you're also very compatible with people that are of your same aspect, whether that's masculine or feminine. Um, and also, astrology has helped me in so many ways with finding out more about myself and why I am the way I am, and learning about why people in my life are the way that they are, which is very helpful, especially if you're on the journey to trying to embody unconditional love. It's important to realize that sometimes people are the way they are just because it's in the stars. um, and if you already know your element and you already know all these things, I definitely still encourage you to watch, because I know for me, I'm always trying to learn about the same subjects, and new subjects as well. But I'll research the same subject, even if I know all about it, even if I've heard it many times, because every time you seek out a new teacher, they have something new, some new insights, perspectives to share with you. You might hear me word something in a way that you've never heard worded, or explain something in a way that you never heard explained. So I'm gonna put some timestamps below if you want to just skip to your element. But I definitely encourage you to watch the whole video, because if you know about your birth chart, you'll know that you are more than just one element. Most likely, a lot of us are a mix of all four elements. For instance, I'm a Taurus, so I'm an earth sign. I have a lot of earth in my chart, but I also have a lot of fire, so I really resonate with the fire element as well. And if you don't know me, my name is Veronica Jazz. Like I said, I am an energy healer and a teacher of many things. I teach yoga, mindfulness, meditation, and I love to share as much knowledge as I can about all the spiritual and esoteric knowledge that I've accumulated through reading and learning from other teachers, and my own spiritual practices and experiences. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you do know me and you're here from my Facebook or Instagram, what's up? Thank you for supporting me. If you want to support me on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, because right now YouTube is like, Ronnie Jazz? We don't know her. So I could really use the support. So let's get into it. First, I'm going to go over the difference between masculine signs and feminine signs. First of all, the masculine signs are the air and fire signs, which are Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, and then the fire signs Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So the masculine signs are more action-based, they're more extroverted, they're more energetic, they're more outgoing, and they're always moving, always changing. They're more welcoming to change, and less judgmental, and more free spirited and open minded. And then the feminine signs are the earth and the water signs. So Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, and Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. Those are the feminine signs. And what it means to be a feminine sign is they are more internal. They like to turn inwards. They're more reflective. They tend to dwell on things more, brood a little more. They tend to be more pessimistic. They're not as high energy as the masculine signs, and they're more so caring, nurturing, emotional, and introverted. So I'm going to be addressing that a lot. Let's talk about the air signs first. So air signs are masculine. The air signs are Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. Yes, Aquarius is a masculine, or is a air sign, because a lot of people think that Aquarius is a water sign because it has aqua in it and they're the water bearer, but they're most definitely an air sign. There's a huge difference between water signs and air signs, and Aquarius are most definitely an air sign. They are masculine. They are very logical, practical people. So air signs don't tend to be the most emotional people. They can come across as emotionally detached, and that's usually because they pretty much are. They like to handle life from a logical, practical point of view more so than an emotional response. They're not really the type that's going to give you an emotional response. So if you are someone that wants to get a rise out of people, tends to like some drama in your life, you want to instigate, don't even try it with your air sign friends because they won't have it. They're really good at just kind of shutting down and shutting you out. Air signs are really good at boundaries. They don't got time for all that stuff. Um, Air signs are like the wind, always moving, always flowing, always changing. And the wind moves in every which way in all directions. And so air signs are very free spirited. They are very inventive, innovative, and they just have amazing ideas of how to move forward with life, with society. They have a vision. We are in the age of Aquarius, which is supposed to be the age, this period of time on earth for the next 2,000 years, where we are moving out of old traditions, old ways of being, old outdated things, and moving towards liberation, freedom, justice for all. And um, air signs are really about justice for all. They are so community based. They make good politicians because they're very fair. They want to make sure that everyone is justified. They love to bring people together, and air signs are very good at communicating, and which is great because they can communicate, they can listen, and they don't tend to become emotionally attached or biased. They are, they are really good at holding space, just like the air, the space between us all. Air signs are really good at holding space for people, and I love how non-judgmental air signs are because they they're kind of like, you do you, you be you, because I'm just gonna be me. And they're so non-judgmental and optimistic. They don't feel the need to get involved or try to change you or try to sway you. They're kind of just like so free, and I just love that about air energy. Um, air signs tend to be very ahead of their time. If you're an air sign, you've probably been told that before. You're very ahead of your time, which is not a bad thing because air signs are the initiators into a new life, into a new way of thinking. Age of Aquarius is all this new technology, new ideas. People are becoming more accepting, more open-minded, and air signs are very, very good, like the air, at adapting and changing. So it doesn't necessarily mean that air signs like change, but they're really good at it. They're really good at going with the flow, and they're good at getting along with all different types of people. The air signs are very unpredictable, just like the wind, and they are so multifaceted that they can contradict themselves in a million different ways completely, because they can be anything. They can be hype, they can be chill, they can party, or they can be calm. They can do it all, and they can be whatever kind of energy you need. um, they could blend in, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they will, because like I said, they're very unique people. They're free spirited, and like the wind, you can't control the wind, and you can't predict it either. They are so unpredictable. They love to go, they love to travel, expand their mind, expand their experience on Earth. They just love to adventure, and they're just ever changing. I wrote down that air signs say that they don't care, and they really don't. They really don't. They're good at kind of moving forward and keeping those boundaries and being detached when they need to. But yeah, so that was air signs. I just love them. I love all signs. Who am I kidding? All right, so let's move on to earth signs. Earth signs are a feminine sign. So they are very, very sensitive people. But they are very much like the air signs in the way that they like to handle life from a practical and logical point of view rather than an emotional one. So, although earth signs are very sensitive, they're not really going to be the most emotionally reactive people. They're really good at boundaries, just like the air signs, shutting you out and shutting down because trust me, you don't want to get an earth sign mad. It takes a lot because they're so stable like the earth, like a rock. But if you do get them mad after you push and push and push, it's like an earthquake. And you don't want an earthquake. And then earth signs, because they are feminine, they dwell on things much longer than the air signs. So they will hold a grudge for life. They are very hard at it's very hard for them to forgive and move on. They will always remember what you did. So for earth, I wrote down that they say they don't care, but they do. They do care. They're very, very emotional, and but they will always put up that front that they don't really care, because they're really good at boundaries. And earth signs will always have that front. It's not They're not being fake. It's just when you first meet them, an earth sign, um, which is Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, they will always seem like they're withholding something, or they're very shy. They are shy. But what it is that when they're in a new experience or meeting a new person, they take a long time to open up because they are analyzing. They're feeling everything out completely before they are ready to open up and show you who they really are. And once they do open up to you, they are such loyal people. They will be your friend till the end of time. But because they're very analytical, earth signs do tend to be very judgmental because they are analytical. It is a way of protecting themselves. I said, they are very literal and logical. So they like to put labels on things. Earth signs love to put labels on things so that they feel like they understand things more. And that involves people. They will be judgmental towards people, like, oh, I know what that kind of person is like. So I've had to work hard in overcoming, the judgmental tendencies, but I still feel like, because I am so earth, I still have the tendency that comes out in the way of how much I love astrology, because every time I meet someone, it's like, I'm like watching them, I'm analyzing them because I want to know what their sign is. I just love to know people's signs, so then I'll always ask, and so that I can put that label on them in a loving way. But yeah, I'll always tell people, like, I might not remember your name, but I will remember your sign. So earth signs, like I said, they're like the earth. So the earth is stubborn and rigid, and so earth signs do not like change, nor are they good at adapting to it. Like I said, the air signs are. The earth signs are very stuck in their ways, so they tend to be very traditional, conventional people. The total opposite of the air signs. How I said they like to move forward and new. Earth signs are very habitual. They love their routine. An earth sign without their routine is like an anxious mess. They need to know what's going on. They like to have control. Earth signs, because of that, they're just very stable. So if you ever need support, you probably want to go to your earth sign friend. If you ever feel overwhelmed with emotions and all these thoughts, you're stressed out, you might feel like, oh my god, I need to call my earth sign friend. I need to go hang out with them, because just being in the presence of the earth energy is very, very grounding. It kind of gives you that foundation where you feel like calm. Earth signs have natural healing abilities because they help you to reconnect and be mindful, um, and be practical. So earth energy is very calming, very supportive, um, and earth signs are also very nurturing. Earth signs are very materialistic. This is because they're so literal. They like tangible things, tangible knowledge, and they're very materialistic. So earth signs love to, even if they're materialistic no matter what, even if it's not in the way that they like flashy jewelry and nice clothes, which they do. They like to have things. They like to have their house in order. They like to have everything that they need in their house. Is very survival mode, very root chakra. um, and their family, they put so much importance on providing for and supporting their family. They will be totally selfish for their loved ones. They will protect their loved ones no matter what. Um, Earth signs are very strong. Um, you might know an Earth sign that they've been through so much and they are just so strong. They always seem like no matter what, they can handle anything that life throws at them. But like I said, they have a hard exterior. Inside, they are so soft and so sensitive and so emotional. Um, yeah, I think that's about it for Earth signs. They're very, very supportive and calm, down to earth. Um, so, let's move on to fire signs. Fire signs, we're going back to the masculine side. The masculine side. It is expressive, it is outgoing, it is high energy. Fire signs are Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. So, the air and the earth signs, they're very logical, practical, not so much emotionally based. Whereas the fire signs and the water signs, which we're going to talk about next, are more emotional. They tend to act more out of their emotions, not their thoughts. Especially fire signs, they will act before they think. They will act based on the emotion, based on the moment. How do they feel in the moment? So I wrote for fire that they say they care, but they don't. So air was they say they don't care and they don't. Earth sign was they say they don't care but they do. Fire is they say they care but they don't. And trust me, they definitely care in the moment. Like when something's happening in front of them or when they're with the person that they love, they're so passionate and so into it. But then they're very out of sight, out of mind type of people. So as soon as, that situation's over, that person leaves, it's like, what's next? And I love that they have this like naive, childlike essence about them where they're just, whatever is in front of them, that's what they're reacting to. So if you are an instigator and you want to get a dramatic reaction out of someone, try a fire sign. But you might not want to because they are explosive like fire. They can cause so much damage. They are going to act on their emotions in the moment. And oh my god, two chubby ass groundhogs just ran. That was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so back to fire signs. That was the cutest thing ever. So fire signs are very expressive, very emotional. And fire signs, they can cause damage because they act before they think and they speak before they think. So you might have heard people say fire signs are so rude, they are so mean. But they're really just saying what's on their mind. And if they're mad, they're gonna say some really messed up things. It doesn't mean that they mean it. They probably don't. They say, whatever is the first thing that is on the top of their brain, so they're going to blurt out things. And fire signs are very blunt. They're not really going to be considering your emotions. They're just going to be expressing their emotions. Fire signs tend to be very self-centered and selfish. Whereas like they feel like they are on the spotlight. And if you think about fire, the sun is a ball of fire and everything revolves around the sun. So fire signs have that, they almost kind of feel and act like there's a spotlight on them, like they always need to be performing, putting on a show. Fire signs are very theatrical and expressive, and they're just like fireworks. So fire, I talked about how air and earth signs are very good at boundaries. Fire is not so good at boundaries. Think about the light. Fire produces light, and light fills up the entire room. Light shines on everything. So, you know, they're not afraid to get all up in everyone's business and confront things that nobody else has the guts to confront. If there's an elephant in the room, the fire sign is gonna like turn on their flashlight and confront the situation. They are not afraid to say things, and so they could work on boundaries, definitely. Fire signs are very, very free-spirited, though. Like I said, they have that naive, childlike essence to them where they don't tend to be judgmental. They don't tend to be holding grudges or brooding. No, they're very open to change, and they themselves are always transforming. Fire is very transformational. They get over things quickly. They don't tend to hold on to resentments, but they absolutely can, like anybody can. They're very free-spirited, very loving people. And because fire signs are so expressive and emotional and passionate, they are so affectionate. And I absolutely love fire love. They want to embrace you and just love on you and smooch you and shout from the mountaintops that they love you. Oh, fire signs are so romantic. They put their lover up on a pedestal, and their family. They are so protective of their family, and you know, they will worship the love of their life. But fire signs themselves also need to be worshipped. You know, they're not going to worship you unless they know that you worship them. Because they tend to be self-centered, but they definitely reciprocate that sort of love. But you need to worship your fire sign friends, family, and lover. They just need to have their ego stroked. They have huge egos. They need to be worshipped and loved, and you know, the spotlight is on them. And if you can appreciate that, they will just love you so much. I absolutely love them. Fire signs, because they're very emotional, they can be very aggressive. Oh, they're crazy. I had to say it. They're very high energy. So fire signs really love to exercise. And if you're a fire sign and you don't exercise, what are you doing? You probably have so much energy pent up inside of you, and that's not good, because with all that energy inside, if it's not being expressed, it can be expressed in unhealthy ways like addictions or obsessions. So fire signs need to get to the gym. They need to go for a run. They need to let out all that fiery energy. They need to burn it out. So what else? I think that's pretty much it. Fire signs are very, very passionate. They're very expressive. They're a really good time. They're the friend to call up when you want to like have a crazy time and party. So let's move on. Water signs. The water signs are Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. Water signs are a feminine sign, so they are the deep, emotional. They tend to dwell on things more, think about things more, reflect more. They're introverted. So water signs especially are very introverted most of the time, because water signs are so emotional and so sensitive, so they need to be introverted because they pick up on everything. They pick up on energy, and this is why water signs tend to be very, very intuitive, very psychic beings, because they can feel energy, they can read energy, they feel the emotions, and that's a reason why water signs lack boundaries, just like fire signs, unlike air and earth. Water signs lack boundaries. Think about water. If you pour out water, it just spreads everywhere. It falls into all the little nooks and crannies and crevices. So water signs, they lack boundaries, and so they could be very clingy and needy. They can be very manipulative. Think about how water literally carves out the earth. The earth is shaped the way that it is because of water. You know, the Grand Canyon is there because water shapes out the land. Water is so strong. Water signs need to be strong because they are so sensitive. But water signs also need to be strong for their families. They are so nurturing and giving and caring about their family and everybody that they know. But water can also be very manipulative, like how it carves out the earth, how it designs the earth. Water signs can be manipulative, which is not a good thing because their feminine aspects make them very resentful and brooding, and they can hold resentments, and they can be very, very vengeful. Water signs. They're very, very deep and dark, like the water, like the ocean. And you might have heard, like a Cancer, how they have their shells to protect them because inside they are so mushy. That's all water signs. They are so mushy on the outside. So they might put up a front, but it's not. You're not really gonna believe them. So I wrote for water signs that they say they care, and they really do. They really do, and they're not afraid to show you how much they care, unless, of course, they have been burned many times, as water signs often do get hurt because they're very vulnerable, because they're very open with their love and with their feelings, and they're very sensitive. And we all know that a lot of people on earth are not ready to reciprocate that love or receive that love. But water signs are just giving, giving, giving of their love, of their nourishment. They want, if you go over to your water sign friend's house, they're going to give you food, water, tea, coffee. They're going to like make sure that you're warm and comfortable. They're really, really sweet, and they're very mystical and magical. There's just something that is so secretive about water and its mysteries, and kind of like they say only 5% of the oceans have been explored. Oh, that's your water sign friend. That's your water sign lover too. You might never truly understand them or know what is truly going on because they are just so deep and complex. Water signs are very dreamy. They go off into their own dream world that nobody quite understands. Water cares a lot about the people in their life and their relationships. They want to make sure that everybody in their life knows how much they love them. And water signs also really need to know that they are loved. So water signs, they tend to be